What do you got to eat? Here, guys. Ooh. What's this say? I don't know. What's that say? I know, but I'm not going to tell. I think it says it's good.
Conjecture Hoops contains all the presumptions, assumptions, and off-the-wall postulations a growing kid needs. Conjecture Hoops, a big bowl of bullshit. Saturday morning cartoons.
Now at night time.
Mostly conjecture based on little knowledge.
Please welcome Max Headshrew, Dell, Aria Blackness, and your most gracious host, Ben motherfucking Jackson. Applause. Applause. Applause.
Hello. Dude, the Daniel Deluxe. Yeah, that was great. I love that song, actually.
I fixed it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I thought this was at 4, so I just woke up. Give me a break.
No worries, dude.
Oh, how's it going, my dudes?
All right, mate, yeah.
Saturday morning cartoons. Now at night.
Now at night.
That's, Max, that's proper bargain bin, that is.
I have this dream that in 10 years, and we're still doing the show, it's going to be the same intro that I've just patchworked over and over and over again.
I love it.
To suit all our different times.
Oh, it's so good. I love it. Oh, let's see. My internet wasn't working, so I'm on my phone. Let's see. I just restarted my router. So
I'm actually supposed to be working right now, but I just blew off my last class. I wrote my supervisor a message, and I was like, I just had my computer just reset. I'm probably gonna miss the next join. Sorry about that. Like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. That happens. It's okay.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, my bad. Not gonna be there. Can't make it.
Hail, Darren.
Love that for you.
Hail, Zaid.
We got Zaid in the comments. We got D-Wags in the comments. By the way, Phil, Darren, if you want to jump on the show, you're more than welcome to. It's not a requirement to have Red Animal Man. It's just one.
Jump on the show. Be a man.
What percentage are we each through Animal Man then?
Well, I'm
0.
I've been busy, man. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We're gonna tell you all about it.
I can't wait to hear about it. It's been a busy week.
Although actually, my favorite Animal Man run is Pete Milligan, which is like I think right after Grant Morrison.
Is he another British guy?
He is, and he's also pretty weird. It's just fucking lit. Like it's Grant Morrison and then Pete Milligan and then Tom Veitch. It's just great writers.
Yeah,
all the way through. And the funny thing about it, like when Grant Morrison asked to do Animal Man, it was like one of these like throwaway, underutilized characters. Like back in the day, DC, like they went really crazy with their Justice League idea. And they were just like any gimmick that they could think of for a superhero, they made a superhero. But they did fuck all except just be part of the Justice League in these like massive events where every hero was there. So someone was just like, well, what if there was a character that could do animal shit? And they're like, which animals though? Like spiders?
No, like all of them.
Guy? And he's like, no, all the animals. What if it was just a guy that could do everything that an animal does, whatever literally every animal can?
So he's an animorph.
And that was it. That was the entire extent of the character. They never did anything with him. They didn't develop him at all. And then when Grant Morrison, like,
of course they didn't develop him. His name's Animal Man.
Grant Morrison makes the book excellent. Like he's one of the reasons why he's like one of my favorite writers is because one, like he's really into like doing his meta stuff, which I really appreciate. But also he's got like this obsession with really Silver Age comic characters. That are all like the campy ones that, like Ben was saying, that they just pushed out loads of different ideas. Like there was a rainbow coloured Batman at one point, and there was all different coloured Batman. And what Morrison tries to do is sort of go back and take these Silver Age sort of wacky characters and then give them a context, like a more sort of modern and grounded.
Take them
context.
Seriously, I call
it. And then he'll use those wacky ideas and then give reason for them, and you'll be like, oh, that's clever as shit.
Exactly.
And that's basically what he did with Animal Man.
So like in that documentary, like the interviews with Grant Morrison, he explains, like, in a way, I don't forget exactly what words he used, but he's sort of trying to be the antithesis of Alan Moore. Well, not the antithesis, but sort of taking a different direction. Because, like, you had Alan Moore and then Neil Gaiman after that, like taking superheroes very seriously, but making them overly realistic and dark.
Yeah.
And so
deconstructing them.
Right. And so Grant Morrison's thing was like, okay, yes, take it seriously. Yes, write interesting stories, but this is still a comic book world, so it should still be fun and zany and wacky and wild. And he hits that perfectly. Like this, it's 26 issues, right? Pretty simple story, but it's just brilliant the way that he it's sort of like magic realism in it.
Yeah.
Because it's like
it's exactly that.
It's like because if you don't know, magic realism is like realistic, serious storytelling where you can like really feel like these are real characters, that like they're not like goofy and childish, but at the same time, fun shit happens, right? And that's the most important thing about comic books. So like, I think Grant Morrison's criticism of Alan Moore is like, don't make it our world, keep it the fucking DC world, right?
Alan Moore brings reality to the heroes, and Grant Morrison brings the heroes to reality. So he changes the changes that they're doing are like the opposite side of the same coin, aren't they? Which inherently makes Grant Morrison
better.
Well, that's subject less dark, I suppose. I mean, his stuff is dark. It can be dark, but it's like I suppose there's more room for more ideas.
Batman pays taxes.
That is something Alan Moore would do, probably.
Alfred, where's my W-2?
Exactly.
Fuck.
Because like he kills Animal Man's family at one point, which is interesting.
Yeah, he doesn't take him to the vet, and they all die of dysentery.
Exactly.
Well, later on, he meets. Grant Morrison's got this thing about a distinctive higher power with a plan for you in almost all of his comics, and I think in Animal Man that sort of realised in the idea that Animal Man realises that he's in a comic eventually, and that he gets to meet his creator, which is Grant Morrison, and he sort of there's a segment where he's sort of pleading with Grant to rewrite his family back to life for him, and he's sort of, I think he does do it, right? He does do it.
Yeah, he does do it.
Yeah, but he's trying to explain to Animal Man why he has to do these things.
Sorry, Animal Man, that's just not going to sell, bud.
So I like this issue a lot because it's like actually Animal Man coming out of the panels, right?
Yeah.
Like especially in this cover, and then like what happens throughout the issue is that he does peyote, and then he has a trip, and he realizes that he's in a comic book. Like here's the actual moment when he understands that he's being looked at, and he slowly turns around and sees you reading him in real time in the book.
Yeah.
Which is like the coolest fucking fourth wall break that I've ever seen, to be honest.
Oh, it's a never-ending story.
Fuck the never-ending story.
Yeah.
No way, dude. The never-ending story fucking rules.
I don't know if it rules, dude.
It fucking rules.
No, I like the never-ending story. That I still
think
get
Animal
upset
Man-
about that horse, man. That horse upsets me.
Oh, fuck the horse, dude. Here's his family murdered.
Artax?
But like,
Yeah.
but like Max made an interesting point earlier where you were like, what did you say? You said Alan Moore takes our world and puts it into the superheroes.
Alan Moore puts the superheroes brings the real world to the superheroes, and Grant Morrison brings the superheroes to the real world.
Exactly.
So he changes the rules of our world to suit them, and Alan Moore changes the superhero world to suit reality. Who's the artist? I don't know. I'm going to look it up though.
Brian Boland did the covers. I know that for sure.
Right. There's a thing about the art in that book as well, like because it was of a certain time, and the way certain colours were printed.
Chaz Trogue.
Right. They're quite garish, but like
there's a look.
1988 was probably when I first started reading like comics. So people sort of complain about those sort of printing colours. I love them. Like it's almost like a retro style now. Like I want to do.
It's a product of the time.
Yeah, it's a product of the time, but like
because
because it was the only thing I was used to. It's like it's like a nostalgic for. It's like analog, like being obsessed with analog or vinyl. Like I want to do a comic in that style. I think it's great.
Like
so
you
if you
guys
look
just
at
got
the
cars
shading
in
here,
the UK, right? So like, I mean, comic books probably are still pretty far behind over there.
Yeah. Well, we still got those now.
But like, look at the coloring on this FBI guy's like jacket and his tie and stuff. Like, there's not really gradients, right? It's everything is unichrome, right? So you just have to like do these like chiaroscuro lines or whatever to like delineate between the gray part and the black part.
Listening to you talk about this is like listening to me try to describe writing.
But there's not really any like work for the colorist to do, right? The colorist literally just does one.
It's pretty intense flat color, but
and you get like this newsprint dot kind of thing, right?
And then the color of the text is like without the dot, so it's just like it's smooth, like a vector color.
Right.
It looks like an Andy Warhol.
And that's what I was gonna say. It's like people talk shit about it, but then like when Andy Warhol does it on purpose, then it's cool, right? It's only cool if it's on purpose, right? Like,
Andy Warhol's criticizing consumer culture.
Yeah, Andy Warhol's not cool.
Who do you think pays for your fucking whatever? I don't understand here. I don't understand communists. I really don't get it.
Well,
so
it was a movement. It was a movement of the time. I think a lot of art in comparison now online is the opposite. We're moving in a sort of a more warmer look at nostalgia. I think now, you can see that in movies. I think the 90s and the 60s, you went through this sort of era of
avant-garde.
Yeah, sort of telling everybody that they were slaves to the system, and then the products of that system, which is my generation and onwards, are the ones sort of making the art that was like, we found some comfort in different forms of consumerism.
Yeah,
so the guy that does 80s bedrooms full of all the posters and all the consoles and all the stuff on the floor, and it looks like.
Well, it's because everything sucks now.
Well, the 90s was the last decade we were looking forward, really, and ever since then we've been looking back to different decades when it comes to fashion.
That's because everything forward from here is catastrophe. Everything forward from here is death. Like the ocean currents are going to stop. The ice caps are melting. Like all the rich people are going to go live on fucking Mars, and everybody here is going to die.
They said that shit when I was a kid. I should be dead now.
Yeah, but it's actually happening now. Like
this time for real, man. This time for real. Like in the next 100 years, like we're fucked. When I learned 10 years ago that the ice caps were melting and that fucking New York City was going to be flooded, just because it didn't happen doesn't mean it's not still happening.
I'm seen
it for the rainforests.
I've seen.
However, how sick would it be to go ripping through? Dude, oh yeah, I want the gills. How fucking cool would it be to go ripping through New York City on a jet ski, bro? Like that would be
cool.
Well, if you do, you have to make a cool video of it and post it on your Instagram.
Yeah,
I will.
And the jet ski has to be black.
Yeah, of course. And then you know, like, featuring me.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about Animal Man too is like like all the writers really exploit the gimmick that he's an environmentalist and an animal rights activist to like hilarious results sometimes, because he has like this unnecessary animosity with his son, because his son like eats hamburgers behind his back because they're meant to be a vegan, because they're meant to be a vegan family, and like reads Penalizer comic books, which is basically just the Punisher, right?
Yeah, and the reason why he's like a vegan actually works as well, because he's Animal Man and he can feel the pain of animals. So so he's like, his wife comes home and he's just getting rid of all the meat in the house.
Yeah, and he's just like, we're vegetarians. I love that he's just like this that the personality of Buddy Baker, Animal Man, is quite likable, because he's just like this negligent family man, right?
Yeah,
like he's just got 2 kids and a wife. Could give a fuck about providing for them. Could give a fuck about spending time with them, right? He's always just so it's basically naive. Just like a really good, realistic depiction of like a leftist, you know. He's like, because he's like constantly virtue signaling, right? Thinking that what he does is really important, and then simultaneously neglecting his family, which is should he be his primary focus. So that's very accurate. Well done.
He's super naive, isn't he? When he's because the sort of the comic starts off with him trying to look for fame as a superhero, and sort of fumbling in it at the beginning. And there's a point where he bumps into Superman and I have a little conversation on top of a building, and Superman makes him feel like pretty stupid in comparison to the shit that he's doing.
Yeah, it's a really fun meta commentary, because it's like, yeah, I know that this isn't a real superhero. I know I'm not writing Superman, but you know, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Superman.
And
have fun being an animal, you fucking nerd.
There's a little nugget in there as well, where there's a whole character based around Wile E. Coyote, isn't there, Ben?
Yeah, in issue 5. Which I love, by the way. Let's see if I can find that.
Very good, and I mean, I'm pretty sure that Grant Morrison is saying in that is that Wile E. Coyote is in fact Jesus.
Well, he was in the story, right? It's,
because he sacrifices himself for his for the good of his people.
I see what you're trying. I see what you're doing there. You're making fun of me in a subtle.
No, I'm not. That's actually what I got from it. I thought you'd appreciate it, but yeah, I'm not taking the piss.
No. I'm not appreciating it. I'm just trying to find. I think it's the next issue, right? Yeah, they run over the coyote.
Yeah, there he is.
And then he comes back to life, right?
Yeah. So this is an example of what Alan Moore would do, because he does. Grant Moore does what Alan Moore does to this character specifically, and he brings that character into the real world. So now you're seeing what would happen to Wile E. Coyote in real life if he did get hurt. He would like crack all of his bones back together, and his guts would get sucked back in.
Because in the cartoon, it's just like fine, he's good, whatever. But
he's just on the floor like that.
If that were real, though, what would it look like? It would be this excruciating, torturous process of rebuilding your body, right?
Yeah.
Its pelvic girdle fuses along hairline sutures to cradle rapidly healing organs. A splintered rib that saws back and forth in one lung is withdrawn. The thoracic cage locks in. Sounds like my fucking high school poetry. Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it's very, it's quite flowery in its descriptions. This book, I was into it.
He's an excellent writer, but so the whole thing about our world and the comic book world, and bringing, the Alan Moore thing of bringing our world into the comic book world versus the Grant Morrison thing of bringing the comic book characters into our world. It's quite related to magic, actually, because that's what Gnostics actually think, and I'm pretty sure what Grant Morrison actually believes is that you make reality by conceptualizing it, right?
For sure.
Like Grant Morrison said, like, I want to be a professional comic book writer, and then he attracted that from the universe and made it real. And then I want to be extravagantly wealthy so I can do whatever I want. And then that happened as well. You know, and like,
I don't know, man. I'm still poor as fuck, so I'm not sure
you're
if I buy
not
that.
doing the magic right, you know.
Apparently. Let me know how you figure that out.
You've got to do the magic right, Nick.
So then the coyote gives Animal Man this scroll, right? Being the gospel according to Crafty. Crafty, obviously the analog for Wile the coyote, Crafty the coyote. And then he gives him this scroll, which he's been dead and resurrected. Oh, I see what you mean. Like Jesus, right? Like Jesus, he died and resurrected.
Yeah.
And like Jesus, he gives us the gospel.
Yeah, and he was given the choice by his creator of how he wanted to save his world of like consistent violence, and the way he did it was to suffer for them. So he goes into the real world and suffers so they can, so he dies for them. He dies for their sins, like literally.
Like literally, yeah. So that they can carry on being cartoon characters where violence has no real implication, right?
Yeah.
By him
and
facing
the passing of the scroll's interesting as well, because it was, I thought maybe it was a little allegory for trying to maybe even specifically pass on like your own specific religious ideas to
like the Bible, right?
Yeah, well, it can be any form of ideology, really. But when you're trying to explain it to someone else, that it's difficult to get people to see things the way you do. And when Animal Man reads Crafty's scroll, it's just, to him, it's just gibberish. You know.
Yeah, he can't make any sense of it.
Yeah.
Well, here's the contents of the scroll translated for us so that we can understand it. Oh fuck.
Really? That's what it says?
Yeah.
It says, "Oh fuck," and then
fuck.
No. Animal Man says, "I can't read it." So that's what it looks like to him, right? Scribbles, and he can't understand it. So, like, what's that all about, right? And like the first time I read this, because I actually have this issue, and I read it when I was a little kid. I didn't read the whole run, but I read this issue, which I own somewhere, and when I read it as a child, I just thought like, oh, this is a fucking cop out. Like he had this cool idea about Crafty, and then he just like, I read it as just kind of like, oh, it was all a dream. Like, oh, an animal can't understand it. I didn't get it, but I just reread this recently, and now I think I do understand it at least a bit better, more. A bit better, more.
A bit better, more. I think Grant Morrison's like that. I think there's a certain written aesthetic to his work that I think once you get and then go back and read stuff perhaps that you read the first time round, you start to see more stuff in his work.
Just imagining child Ben just writing Grant Morrison. You fucking cop out, motherfucker.
You fucking cop out, motherfucker. It's hard to wrap your head around the concept to like really suspend disbelief to think that fiction is real, to entertain that thought that fictional things are actually real.
I don't know, man. When I was a kid, I had like this fucking Stormtrooper blaster, and I was convinced that if I used it enough, it would become real.
How many times did you have to use it?
Well, you didn't believe.
Well, I fucking apparently didn't believe hard enough because I never got my Stormtrooper blaster.
Well, there you go then. So you know where you fucked up, Nick.
Yeah, I didn't try hard enough.
Try harder.
What about
Son of a bitch? That's what happens when you watch porn on your computer. Now you got a damn virus.
But like, what I think is going on here. What I think is going on here is like the layers between realities are so difficult to penetrate, right?
So penetration is difficult.
It is with you. You live too far away.
Ooh. We're just a 6-hour flight away from you, buddy.
Is that all it is? 6 hours?
6 hours from here to the UK, yeah.
And you don't even need to vaccinate yourself anymore?
Well, I'm vaccinated. But well, it was either not get vaccinated or have all of the have the military kick me out and have all of my benefits stripped. So I got vaccinated.
But now you might grow a third arm on your face.
That would be fucking tight, actually. I'd probably get a little bit more done.
Fair dues, mate. I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah, like imagine, like, you know, because then you could do line work and coloring at the same time.
Oh wow!
If it's two right arms or two primary arms or whatever.
Did you do this?
I was just doing some arts and crafts while we were discussing the coyote.
You just did that right now.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool, man.
That's really cool.
I like the color. See, I like that. I'm liking the flat color, and I like the. What does Ethan Van Sciver call it?
Why is everyone better than me at everything? What the fuck?
Colors.
Bisexual lighting.
Bisexual lighting. Yeah, I'm into the bisexual lighting.
I am too, dude. Like
it's gender fluid lighting.
It's
right?
No, it's just color. It's just a color that you like.
Cool when they did it in the 80s. It's bisexual when they do it now.
Well, what goes along with bisexual lighting is like the really lazy character designs, which is everyone's drawn the same way, everyone's head's the same shape, and everything's done digitally. And I don't like that, right? But I do quite like those colors. But like, it's not a modern phenomena. Like, you've got the same colors going on in your background, Max.
Yeah, I was going to say that's why I like them. Not
and I wouldn't call that bisexual.
It's the exact same color palette.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are just good. Those are just fun colors to play with, honestly.
They're punk colors.
Exactly.
How about flat gray?
Flat gray. I like all colors.
Max likes all the colors.
Yeah. But you see, like, I'm
not a color phobe, all right?
Yeah,
you're all a bunch of color phobes.
I don't think there's any particular emotional connotation to any color. I think that the form and the aesthetic of how it's used changes.
Well, that's why it's called color theory.
Yeah, not color flat.
That's right. No, I'm serious. Like, fucking, if you want to talk about somebody's, like, the way they render things, you call it their color theory.
Do you use color theory with your work, Nick?
Well, I don't do a lot of colors, unfortunately. I would like to, but if I were to, and the primary way that I would color things, you could describe as my color theory. At least in the tattoo industry, that's what it's referred to. Right.
Because there's a few different ones, aren't there?
The one theory is that pink is for girls. Another theory is that pink is like fun and punk and.
Well, it's not necessarily that. It's more akin to, like, are you guys familiar with music theory at all?
Yes.
I'm not.
Like, so, like, you can say, like, these are major and minor chords, and these sound happy and these sound sad. Same thing. Like, fucking, like, these colors are, these are warm, like, vibrant colors, and these are dark, melancholic colors. But, like, somebody might just be like, oh, this makes me feel great. And this other person might be like, oh, that makes me feel depressed. That's why it's not a fact. It's theory. Color theory sounds like a word racists would use. Maybe.
We're gonna get in trouble for that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you can't even be satirical anymore because people take it out of context.
I thought we didn't care on this show.
I made like 3 jokes that I'm not gonna make in my head.
We're gonna get canceled before we even get.
So the thing about Crafty Coyote, if I could just bring it back to that real quick, it's like if you bend disbelief long enough to suppose that Crafty Coyote really exists, right?
Sure.
That implies a different universe where pain, suffering, death, immortality, all of these concepts have a different weight and different implications. And and I think you're right, Max. And that's really cool of you to make the comparison between Crafty and Jesus, because it's like, if you took someone from a cartoon world and put him in our world, what would that look like? What would be the result? And
Roger Rabbit.
And if you took Jesus and put him in our world, like Jesus is like a creature from another dimension. Jesus is like a creature from a different world, where physics is different. He can walk through walls. He can walk over water. Like, I know a lot of you might be atheists and might think that those are just stories that people made up. That's not the point, right? The point is the impact of the story is as if someone was inserted into our universe from an outside universe where things are totally different, right?
For sure.
Inserted. And so like that's the same thing Grant Morrison's trying to do. But like Grant Morrison's not staying with Jesus. Grant Morrison's saying like we can all be Jesus, or we can all create the world in our own way, right? And it's actually a satanic concept, which is really interesting. I'm not kidding.
He's right. He's right.
It's just funny.
It is.
No,
funny.
he's right. Well, because if you ask any self-proclaimed Satanist or anybody who not like your fucking like shopping mall Satanist, but if you talk to people who take the like anti-theist point of view for Satanism, they'll tell you that Satan is to them like the bringer of light and personal freedom and liberty and justice. Like he is without judgment. Like that's Satan is who you follow because Satan promotes wants you to be whoever you are. Like whether you're a sinner or not, like there's no repentance. It's just, hey man, you're you. That's cool. Satan wants you to be that. Go for it.
There's no restriction.
Right, exactly. But you are your own God in your own little world. That's like Satan's like, cool man, you go for that. You do that.
That's right.
Yeah, because Satan's cool. Satan's a homie.
Because Grant Morrison was a follower of Aleister Crowley, right?
Yeah, or his uncle was, and then.
Okay, I don't know if he was a follower, but definitely there was.
I know he was like really into all that Gnostic.
Yeah. There was definitely a Crowleyan influence on his magic, because the guy's a sorcerer, like really, like he does magic.
Yeah.
And
he went to my birthday party. It was insane.
And basically, the revelation, the satanic revelation for Crowley was, "Do as thou will." Is the whole of the law, which is basically the opposite of the law. So if you want to think of it in very simple terms, like traditional authoritarian religion, Christianity, for example, that's based on order. That's based on the universe has certain principles. You do bad things, there's a bad result. You try and do good things, maybe it's a good result. But Satanism is like, no, fuck all that. Chaos. Everyone do what you want to do.
Right, and Morrison's a chaos. He says he does chaos magic, right?
And he does do chaos magic. And chaos magic's a real thing. It really, really is. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, it can be if it depends on how you're what you mean by magic, right?
It's also a Yu-Gi-Oh card, but whatever.
Yeah. Aria.
I mean, are we talking chaos theory here? Because life finds a way.
Life.
And here I am sitting here by myself, talking to myself, and no one could have predicted that is chaos. And he's just like, I hate that man.
As a dinosaur.
I bring scientists. You bring a rock star. Dr. Sadler, I refuse to believe that you're not familiar with the draft.
Doesn't my hood look like foreskin?
A little bit. You kind of look like a sandworm.
It's like just get my bell end out, dude.
This
show is about comics. You were gonna clarify the magic that Grant Morrison does IRL.
It depends.
Grant Morrison plays Yu-Gi-Oh! End of story.
End of story.
But it depends how you define Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you mean it like?
Is this a Jordan Peterson dialect?
No, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is clearly a euphemism for Christianity. All right, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is out there sacrificing himself.
Like that's not an easy question to answer. Is magic real? Well, what do you mean by real? I'm so tired of Jordan Peterson not making up his mind on anything.
He doesn't answer any questions. He just poses more questions.
Like a year ago, it was like you're right. That's a really complicated, nuanced topic, Jordan, and there's different ways to look at it. But by now, it's just like, right? Do you fucking believe in God or not, dude? Fuck.
Oh, you want to know his religious stance,
dude? Could you imagine being his wife?
Religious stance is he's an atheist, but he lives like
Yeah, like there.
God exists. Yeah, like he believes God exists.
Live as if God exists. Yeah.
Yeah, because he thinks there's merit in certain traditional elements of religion.
No, I
like
get it.
not murdering people.
I'm just mad at him for not being a real Christian. That's all. I understand his point of view. He's not the only one. Douglas Murray is as well. It's called being a Christian atheist, right?
Yeah, Christian positive. I don't know.
A Cretaceous.
Douglas Murray calls himself a Christian atheist, and he explains it's like, I don't actually believe in God, right? But I recognize that it's Christianity that's lent me my moral worldview.
Yeah.
Which might be what you are. I'm not sure.
Also responsible for.
I think you take elements of elements of morality from all sorts of places, and I think probably a singular idea that's pushed through your culture is definitely going to have some form of impact. So I definitely think it's a big element. I don't know if it's the entire element.
What does this have to do with Animal Man?
And then Nick's just a Satanist, out and out, flat out.
Well, Aria, I feel like you quite like Satan. Am I right or wrong in that assumption?
Yeah, we're boys. No.
I thought so.
Me and Satan go down to the pub, bruv.
Am I right or wrong in that assumption?
Yeah, we're boys.
How's your relationship with Satan?
Me and Satan go down to the pub, bruv.
Am I right or wrong in that?
How tight are you with Satan, Mr.
Buddha, we're getting feedback.
Yeah, why do I hear in an echo?
You need to put your headphones on, I think.
Michael Max is trying to navigate around Ben's magic is real.
Have you got YouTube on?
Magic is real, though.
There you go, we're all right now.
Yep. Max, isn't it true that Grant Morrison practices magic?
Yes.
And isn't it also true that the spells he does seem to have had effect, and because he has Grant Morrison is a worldwide famous fucking millionaire.
I can understand why Bristolian Dave said that, but that's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying, because there's a documentary of Grant Morrison where he does in fact say that he does magic, and what Ben is saying is right. He does do magic, and then that magic, according to him and people that he knows, it appears to have worked, right? But the explanation of what he feels magic is probably isn't the magic that instantly comes to mind when you think of magic. It's not like, it's more about focusing ideas on something and then getting the world to move out the way for something that you're
so like Grant Morrison meets his wife and she's dating someone else, but he really fancies her. Grant Morrison does magics. 3 days later, this girl calls him up and says, I just broke up with my boyfriend. Do you want to go out? Right? That's one hell of a coincidence, my friend. That's all I'm saying.
And also he if you ever read The Invisibles, he wrote himself into The Invisibles as the main character. It's not the same name, but the character looks exactly like him. King Mob is called. And there's a part in the middle of the story where King Mob gets like this flesh-eating disease, and at the same time, Grant Morrison got a flesh-eating disease behind his ear, and I think it gave him pneumonia, and he had to spend like 2 weeks in hospital or something.
Pneumonia's no joke, by the way.
He was attributing that to there being some kind of tentative link between the fact that he'd written this character as himself and then this thing happening to him, as if it inadvertently created some kind of voodoo doll in the.
Interestingly enough, in the following issue, that guy had a huge cock.
Yeah.
That would explain the girlfriend thing.
Grant Morrison's missus grew a massive cock as well.
In this issue, King Mob has sex with Jessica Alba.
From the beginning to end, it's just an orgy.
Yeah.
You give us another comic with an orgy, and there's not even a story.
Yeah, but this one has Scarlett Johansson in it. Please, for the love of God, publish it. Now, is it him talking about it, or is it the fact that it got published? Is it the collective conscious that makes it real, or is it just Grant Morrison making it real?
He says it's all of it.
All of it?
Well, it's the collective conscience, but like a person has to navigate the collective conscious, right? Because like we're all influencing the world through our thoughts and actions. But if you're aware of that link, you can manipulate it and you can like direct it.
I don't know, man. I feel like people would be wearing a lot less clothing if that were true. If I were
there's not enough nudists.
Well, I feel like it's got to be within the realms of reality. You can't just wish like I'm going to wake up like Superman or whatever. I think it's got to be. It's still got to be the thing that you want to do. Is still got to be grounded in reality. So if you take the time to sort of focus on something that you want to achieve in the next few years, maybe you'll do it. You know.
So whether you believe that Grant Morrison's IRL magic works or not, the really cool meta thing that he does in Animal Man is that he incorporates his own cosmology of like the collective unconscious, whatever you want to call it, of like the law of attraction, however you want to understand it. He incorporates that into the Animal Man universe because it's like, how does Animal Man have his animal powers? Well, he's in contact with the energy field of all animal life on the planet, right? And by entering into that collective M field, that's how he accesses the other animals.
He just has a higher metachlorian count than the rest of us.
That's all it is. It just so happens that that's what Grant Morrison really thinks about the real world. So, so Max, what I find really interesting about that King Mob being sick at the same time is that do you remember how he got better in real life?
No, it's been a while since I've seen the.
A tiny cricket came to his window and was like, "Take a wish, bitch."
They gave him a blood transfusion from his massive cock.
Exactly.
They just took all the blood out of the cock. Now he's got a little cock, but he's okay.
His wife's cock. Yeah. His wife's cock. It wasn't his wife's cock.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right.
I have absolutely nothing to add to this conversation that's productive whatsoever.
Right.
No, that's fine.
I'm enjoying it.
We love you, and we always want you to do your thing. It was Jesus, Max.
Yes, I am he sees him in a dream, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am the stone that breaks all hearts. Or something like that.
I am not the God of your fathers. I am the stone that breaks all hearts.
That's it. Yeah.
Do you think Jesus was like, the dude from
the Big Lebowski? From the Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
I legitimately and sincerely don't know what to make of that. Because
Big Lebowski?
No, Jesus appearing to Grant Morrison.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie! You're out of your element.
Because on the surface, it seems like unlikely, right? Occam's razor is like, right, he just had a fucking weird acid dream and that wasn't really Jesus. But I know Jesus very well. And what he said to Grant sounds
over every Thursday.
Sounds like something Jesus would honestly say. I am not the God of your fathers. Like, whatever concepts you have from like corrupted, bastardized versions of me that you've been taught, that's all wrong. That's exactly what Jesus would say, because that's what he did say. And then I'm the stone that breaks all hearts. Yeah,
that's pretty metal, actually.
That's the God that I know and recognize. So, like, I think it's quite likely that really sincerely was Jesus appearing to Grant Morrison. I mean to take a good look at his work before and after, and see how it's changed. Because
Jesus shows up. Hey, Grant, big fan.
Animal Man.
Listen,
big fan of your work, Grant.
Animal Man was like his first foray into like proper comics, I think. But
American comics,
Animal Man, right?
I've read it this week.
And what did you think?
For the first time, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for introducing me to Animal Man. My favourite era of comics is the British invasion, what it's called, being referred to.
Yeah, late 80s.
The late 80s. I didn't really read superhero comics that much growing up. My sort of introduction to comics was really discovering the British invasion. So my jumping off points were Watchman, Sandman, Neil Gaiman, and The Dark Knight Returns, the big three. I know that's not written by a Brit, but those are the this era of comics is really the era that I'm most fascinated by. It's when the kids that have grown up with comics, they wanted to do their own interpretation of the characters that they'd grown up reading, but most importantly, do something for adults. So we got this darker, grittier take on.
And now they sort of deconstruct the deconstruction, which doesn't work. Everything's just dark as fuck all the time.
Yeah.
We sort of, and that's another form of nostalgia, like the deconstruction of the superhero, because the late 80s and sort of early and mid 90s, that was when really Alan Moore did it with Watchmen the best, and then there was a lot of offshoots of that sort of aesthetic afterwards. But now it's like we've already seen the deconstruction.
Where can you go?
Well, I feel like they consistently sort of teeter on. I mean, it's only in the last sort of 15 years that we've got superheroes that unironically wearing their superhero outfits in the actual movies. So if you remember when the X-Men first came out, they're all just in biker outfits, and in the first film somebody cracks a joke about Wolverine wearing yellow spandex being stupid. Of course, now if they did X-Men and when they do redo X-Men, there's no doubt in my mind that Wolverine's going to have his yellow outfit.
He fucking better.
So they're bringing
better.
Now they're bringing it back to.
I want the fucking stupid hair wings.
Pretty much what Grant Morrison was doing.
Of course I do.
Which is bringing the campy stuff into the real world and making it work instead of.
As Grant Morrison,
they did it. They did it with the most recent Spider-Man. The last scene in.
But it's
in No Way Home. Yeah, he's in the OG fucking like 1990s Spider-Man comic book outfit.
Yeah,
which I thought was fucking awesome.
Yeah, but it took us 3 movies to get there, and a bunch of different suits before we could see the original sort of slightly goofy looking one.
Yeah, we had to have the iron spider suit.
They're testing the waters to see if the public accept it, and they will, because every other superhero movie is dark as fuck.
Yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't accept it, because we watched it for decades before these movies.
But there'll be a backlash to that as well. There'll be a deconstruction of the reconstruction.
There'll be a what?
A deconstruction of the reconstruction. The reconstruction is Marvel, right? They're doing what Grant Morrison was doing in the 80s. They're trying to bring all the campy superheroes into the real world. In the 90s and the noughties, they were trying to make everything.
How much of the Edible Bad did you read? Did you read the Peter Milligan issues as well, or not yet?
No, just the Grant Morrison. Weirdly enough, I didn't know this until you told me that you'd started reading it recently. But Grant Morrison's Animal Man is one of the first ever, if not the first DC comic I ever picked up halfway through the issue when I was I think I was 9, 7 or between 7 and 9.
And what is that? 1948.
It is. It's 19.
The golden age.
1988.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember it being the scene where Animal Man gets his arm ripped off, and then he passes out, and then it regrows back. But I'd never seen that sort of violence in a comic book before. And
that's super cool for a couple of reasons. One, because it's ultra violent, and which is just taking seriously. Because you're presented with this world where there's these powerful characters that can fucking rip each other's arms off, and they never do. And I'm supposed to believe that, for one. And two, because it gives you a creative way to exploit the animal powers gimmick. Because there are animals that can regrow limbs. That means Animal Man can regrow a limb.
Yeah, and I remember taking that issue to school and showing all my mates, and then taking it home and just furiously copying the images.
There's just the right level of grit, I thought, through Animal Man. I preferred it to actually to Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing,
Right.
which I just is sort of unremittingly gritty throughout.
Yeah, I think maybe we should do that as an episode.
Alan Moore's Swamp Thing is like too much head work for me. It's
Oh really?
It's trippy. It does. I don't. It's hard to keep my attention on that one.
I prefer more when he's left to his own devices to do his own thing. Whereas with Morrison, I think he works slightly better within the confines of mainstream comics.
Morrison is more comic booky because Alan Moore is like he wants to take you through this like psychedelic journey, and I just can't follow along with him. But you want to put an allegory for Wile E. Coyote, and oh, by the way, he's also kind of like Jesus into a comic book. Yeah, I'm like, that's the thing. I'm down for that.
Yeah, and I think it's the way they both work conceptually, like we were talking before. Like Grant Morrison will use the initial idea of like these goofy characters to attach an idea to, whereas Alan Moore will sort of engulf the character in his own world. So yeah, that's probably why you get Morrison being more sort of faithful to the characters that he writes about.
Whereas
Alan Moore has a tendency to sort of change them a little bit.
Exactly, and that's why I'm really happy that that Watchmen ended up being original characters rather than taking like Golden Age Minutemen, because that wouldn't have worked as well. But
wasn't that the original idea?
These like original character analogs that worked so much better, didn't it?
Was it the original idea for Watchmen was that it was supposed to be the Justice League, right?
Well, not the Justice League per se, but like the predecessor of the Justice League.
Yeah.
What are they called? The Minutemen or the What are they? Minutemen, I think they're called.
That's the pre.
Like
they were the
Minutemen are like the pre-Watchmen. No, I mean like when he was first writing Watchmen originally, it wasn't going to be these. It was going to be already known characters, and I think it was.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I mean. I'm pretty sure the team was called the Minutemen or something like that.
Oh right, okay.
But yeah, I'm talking about that. I'm glad that they didn't use the pre-existing characters, because like every Watchman is like a ripoff, you could say, of an existing character that they were meant to use.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But I actually like the Watchmen characters more. I think they're more interesting superheroes, especially Rorschach.
Yeah, everyone likes Rorschach.
Yeah. It's just a great gimmick for a superhero, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, I just like that he murders people.
Cool.
I just enjoy that he murders people.
I do too.
It's good.
It's taking the superhero elements down to its base level. So he's got a mask, but it's a rag around his face, you know.
Yeah. But it's got it moves and shit. But
and a hat.
Yeah. But I just enjoy that it's one of the first like depictions of a superhero where he has just as strong a sense of justice as like say your Batman character, but he's like, no, I'm just gonna kill you. Like,
which is what Batman should do, by the way.
Right, yeah, but you know, you cross that threshold, there's no coming back. You know, like fucking, you know, you can't. Batman's not gonna do it. Batman's gonna fucking do this rigmarole, which ultimately is more destructive because he keeps these bad guys alive, and they ultimately escape, and then they kill more people, and then he chases them down. So really, is Batman out for justice, or is Batman out for himself? Like he's out to just be Batman. That's his thing.
But Nick, Rorschach is a whole episode on the ethics of Batman. Batman is a
narcissist. Batman is an egocentric narcissist. That like he in his mind, the whole world is revolved around the fact that his parents were murdered and he's Batman in his world. Right. Nothing is more important than his mission.
And somehow he thinks that if he doesn't kill people, that somehow makes up for the fact that his parents are dead. He's dumb.
Batman's fucking delusional. He has a cool suit, but if this were closer to reality, if somebody were like that, like they just killed bad guys, like,
and they should.
It's so much easier.
which is why my favorite character in theory in comic books is Red Hood as Jason Todd, right?
Yeah,
That's
where
the
he's like,
coolest
Batman, you're full of shit. We're gonna murder people.
And he's right.
Yeah, and he's right.
And he's right. The only problem is no one's ever written a very good Red Hood fucking book. That's the
true.
only thing. But like if they had someone better working on him, that would be my favorite DC fucking book. But
So write the story, dude.
Maybe. But just conceptually, I think he's the coolest character in the DC world. Because like if you're a superhero and you don't kill people, suck my balls. Because you know who does kill people? You know who kills people? Animal Man kills people. Look at this CEO guy. He's fishing. Animal Man is the fish. Fucking drags him underwater. Fucking holds him underwater.
Kisses him a little bit.
Stares into his eyes as he drowns.
A really sensual kiss.
I think of Ellen and Cliff and Maxine, and I put my hands on his shoulders. I hold him. I hold him until he stops kicking.
That's just straight up a crime, though.
Yeah.
Animal Man commits crimes. Yeah, well, it's international waters, bud. 40 miles off the coast, bro. That's all you need.
But Arya, you think he shouldn't do this because it's illegal?
Yes.
What about
So Arya, you don't commit any crimes.
But what about the greater moral issue of killing bad
all superheroes break the law. Batman does it all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
that's part of the irony of Batman is that he delivers his justice by being outside the law.
Like Batman's just bad theology. It's like arguing with like a Mormon or something, and you're like, dude, Batman, you can't hold both of these values at once. You can't believe in justice and keeping people safe and also never taking life. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, Batman's delusional. Like, that's just...
So should we do... I think next week's episode needs to be about Batman, right?
If you want.
Okay.
I think I
do a specific one.
You're the boss.
I am the boss, and I'm saying...
Let's do it. Let's do Batman another time because we've done a bunch of Batman episodes. Let's do something different for a bit.
Okay. But one day we'll do a Batman episode that's just like the ethics of Batman.
Sure.
Like the ethics of Batman's no-kill policy. Like,
okay, or whatever.
Consistent? Is it epistemological? Is it epistemologically sound?
I've been watching. I've been watching the animated series again recently, which I find is really hard for me to watch because the frame rate on the show is so choppy. Like the animation, like going back and watching it again, like it's just like you'll see a character moving and they're like just like 4 frames, and I'm like, I can't. I'm used to anime. It's really smooth, you know.
I fucking love that series, man.
I do too, but I also
nice one, Ollie.
I also have been rewatching Batman Beyond, but there's a lot of that in Batman Beyond where like Terry's morality versus Bruce's morality often come to a head. Yeah. But Bruce always has this power over Terry because Bruce ultimately has control of Terry's suit. So if Terry goes outside of Bruce's version of morality, he can just shut him off, which is insane.
Right, are you ready for some neo-Christian philosophy crowbarred into everything the way I always do?
Sure. Do I have a choice?
It wouldn't be a Saturday morning cartoons at night without it.
So like the reason why God is conceptualized as a father is because your actual father figure in life is supposed to be the way that you discover God. Because by loving someone who has that relationship to you of a father figure, that's how you learn who God is, because God's the ultimate father, right? And so the interesting thing about Batman is that he's the father figure to all of these successors and sidekicks. Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, and Terry McGinnis, right? It's the same father-son relationship.
Does that make the Red Hood the devil?
Yes.
Ben,
It absolutely does. So check this out. The Red Hood becomes the Joker, basically just evil, right? That's the normie Christian take on things, because you're just like, Batman good, Joker bad, God good, devil bad. But then check out the Red Hood Jason Todd, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm on
He's
about.
like the more enlightened version of his father, right? What happens if your father is wrong? What happens if your father is flawed?
Yeah,
that's how you get the
Gnostic
Gnostic
angel, right?
Exactly. That's how you get the Gnostic worldview, which doesn't see the creator of the world as Almighty God. It sees it as the demiurge, who's a flawed physical God, right? So Batman is like the demiurge in a Gnostic world, in which Jason Todd, Red Hood, is the Antichrist, but the hero Antichrist, which is what Gnostics believe in. Anyways.
Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about God. Go.
He's one of many fictional characters to appear in comics.
I knew you were going to say some shit like that.
Well, Lemmy started Motorhead, and take your pick, cool. God or Lemmy. Well, God.
I think it's cool that
Trick question. Lemmy is God. Nobody else watched Airheads? Just me?
I think it's cool that... What'd you say, Nick?
It's a fucking 90s movie joke. Airheads?
No, yeah, Airheads with
Brendan Fraser and
Brendan Fraser's a rock star, and the other guy eats paper or something. I seen it.
Trick question. Lemmy is God.
Lemmy is God. Yeah, sorry.
Lemmy is vengeance.
I think it's cool that Animal Man kills people, but I think it's inconsistent because he's also a vegan.
Well, he doesn't eat them, does he?
Yeah, but no vegan will complain about people dying. I've never met a vegan who doesn't believe in murdering people.
The humans die. So.
Wow, that's interesting observation. So are you saying that
every vegan I've met has been pretty adamant about human death?
What do you mean adamant?
Like very pro, like humans are scum. Like the part of the reason why they're vegan is because they believe it's a just cause, right? Not just because of compassion for animals, but because of realization of the wrongdoings of the human race. So like them being vegan is a jab against the human system.
Self-hating, tree-hugging, hippie bullshit.
So to them, like humans are scum. And if humans die, it's inconsequential because they hate them.
So are they like anti-natalists as well?
Yeah. That's the idea.
That's amazing. So, holy shit! Thank you so much, Nick. I didn't put this together, but Animal Man taking human life is totally consistent with his veganism, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
He's only a vegetarian.
But if it was written today, it'd be a vegan, right?
Yeah.
I guess
are those scrambled eggs? You son of a bitch!
I can't eat
drowning you.
Avocado. Some of them
drowning you in fucking whole fat milk.
Is that oat milk?
How do you think the oats feel? Who's out there? Who's out there milking almonds?
How'd you even fucking milk an oat?
How did you do it?
That's Morrison injecting himself into his work again. I think you say in the introduction, he says he had his last steak just before he wrote Animal Man.
Yeah, he was a vegetarian at the time, wasn't
he? Yeah. But quite progressive.
I think he is now, though.
Isn't he?
I think so.
There's quite progressive views for the late 80s because there's a lot of environmental talk for the.
I don't think it was progressive for that time. I mean, fucking Morrissey was really big around then. He's like been a big vegan proponent since.
Yeah, but everyone thought he was a fucking crazy twat.
That's right, and they still do.
As opposed to now.
Yeah, but he fits in more now, right?
No, he doesn't fit in now because there's been some like he like people have discovered that he like said racist shit at one point in time.
Yes,
so
I know he's been eaten by his own, but what I'm saying is he's past the threshold of people thinking, oh, what he's saying is just something that you don't hear.
Well, I mean, what year did that?
Fun. Go ahead.
There was fucking the Smiths put out an album called "Meat Is Murder" in the 80s.
Right.
Mm.
Fucking Max, you were around for that. What was that like?
The 80s. It was very brown, very smoky.
I thought that was the 70s.
No one had any real muscle definition for some reason.
What did people think about Morrissey at the time?
They thought he was for students, really. It was a student band. Yeah.
Like in college. It's like when you're in college, you listen to it, right?
There was no one over that age. There's probably a few, but there weren't many people over that.
Over the age of 22 thought he was a weirdo.
Yeah.
But he's like my favorite.
Which made him the ideal pop star, really.
Yeah. And now he just fits amongst the other plethora of fucking celebrity weirdos.
But the thing about Morrissey is that he has such an interesting combination of opinions that he's unacceptable to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's it like to be universally hated, Morrissey, by everyone?
There's an adult.
Jesus came to his dream and called him a cunt.
There's an adult. I am the cunt that breaks all hearts.
There's an element.
That's it. The whole episode's come full circle. This is great.
That's the biblical story of Jesus was born.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if Jesus was Australian? Jesus as an Australian guy. How you going, cunts?
What's that, cunts? I'm here to break your heart.
I'm here to save you. Just kidding. None of you are getting saved. Let's take some koalas and get the fuck out of here.
Sorry, Ben.
This is all flying over my head.
Australians cuss a lot. That's all. That's the joke.
Yeah. Australians like the word cunt.
I was having a conversation with one, I forget his name now, Kim Asabi on Twitter about Britain and Australia are in a consistent battle to call each other cunts in the nicest way possible.
Well, they're really, really nice, but they do use that word.
Yeah, you guys don't use it like we do you? Or is it?
And the Australians are even more lax with fuck as well. Like really, really nice. Like Christian, like proper decent folk would just throw the F-bomb around like nothing, dude. It's funny in Australia.
Yeah, but any swear word, it's just part of the lexicon for the average Australian.
Good word.
Whereas I think in Britain, at least, we use it more for shock value.
Right. In Australia, it's not even shocking anymore.
No.
Well, it's because Australia is a nation of fucking criminals, which is totally badass.
Criminals.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's still a prison, actually.
If you take all the criminals out of Britain and have them breed, you get Australia.
Right.
You get a better version of Britain. It's weird.
Yeah, you get Britain in the sun that says cunt probably 2% more.
and funny animals.
And funny animals, yeah. Deadly funny animals.
Scary animals. We have pigeons. They have tarantulas. I take the pigeons.
I have koalas that look cute but can rip your face off.
So
whatever.
I'm going to tell you Animal Man by Ben Jackson. Are you ready?
Go on.
So if I did a run on Animal Man, I'd have him multiply as he does in one of the issues where there's like a bunch of different Animal Mans, right? I'd have him multiply, but then I'd have something go wrong where he can't go back together. And then I'd have the different Animal Mans go around the world and be like, we have to divide up the M field power by location. So then you get to a point where you can only use the powers of the animals from one continent, right? So you've got Animal Man North America, and you've got Animal Man Australia, and then I do a whole series of issues.
But listen, would Animal Man Africa and Animal Man China still be two white guys with blonde hair? because Because he looks like.
So would I have to
Dolph
make a
Lundgren,
Chinese
and he'd be
animal man
representing
and
every
an
country.
African animal man?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
wouldn't be
not
that
fair.
very well.
South American.
Unless somehow he splits off the like different races, or you tread in some fucking dangerous ground there, Ben.
No, well maybe okay.
I mean, I think you should take it as a challenge. I don't think.
But
you should
I
shy
think
away.
I'm
may
not
never
going to
recover.
change his
Yeah.
appearance. I'm not like he's not going to be from those places. He's just going to divvy him. He's just going to divvy
But he
his
will.
different
But he
versions
will
up
be.
around the world.
But he will be representing those places, right?
No, I think like he's saying that his powers are only limited to the animals on the continent in which he's on, right?
Right.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it would be funny in the book if it was like, oh, this is Animal Man of Africa, and it's the guy with blonde hair. This is Animal Man of China. It's a guy with blonde hair. This
could be Animal Man of
India.
South
It's a
Africa.
guy with blonde hair.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Yeah.
That is really no. I think we could do
Is
that.
the writer trying to say something?
I think it would be all right to say that. Like to just have that page would be fine. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take the piss out of it. Yeah.
But like what I was thinking more is like having stories centered around real world problems and conflicts in those different places.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like the Alan Moore thing, but then like limit the gimmicks. Because the most fun thing about Animal Man for me is to see how he uses animal powers in creative ways to overcome different obstacles, right?
Sure,
to murder people.
To murder people. So like he'd be limited by the animals around him, right? So he'd have to do armadillo shit, and he'd have to do skunk shit if he's in fucking the Appalachians, you know?
Yeah, but dude, Animal Man Australia would just wreck house.
Hell yeah, dude!
Yeah.
Animal Man Australia is just ultra violence, dude. It's just
I
gore.
love that. That sounds tight.
And swear
Dude,
a lot.
there's time travel in this Animal Man run. We haven't even talked about that.
Yeah.
Remember that shit?
Yeah. Fill me
Tell
in.
us about that.
No, you tell me about that.
Well, so it's really funny because Animal Man's daughter starts having apparitions of this. Like you're meant to think that it's a Animal Man from a different universe. So you're like, okay,
Right.
This is getting into multiverse theory. So there's going to be multiverse Animal Mans. And that seems like a fun idea. But it turns out it's actually Animal Man from the future coming back, trying to warn the family. Right?
Right.
So there's this really clever game.
Don't race the Rolls Royce, Animal Man.
What?
It's a Back to the Future reference.
Oh, yeah.
You should have got that, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Was it?
No, nobody? Okay.
What was it? Hang on, repeat the quote for me.
Don't race the Rolls Royce. Or no, he races the fucking. He crashes into a Rolls Royce.
Royce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he never would have crashed into the Rolls Royce, he wouldn't have messed up his hand, and he'd be a famous musician. Yeah. Fucking roads where we're going. We don't need roads.
Because in the future they have flying cars.
They have traffic in the sky instead.
Yeah.
The far-flung future of 2015.
Yeah.
Dude.
Still haven't got hoverboards. Or a jacket that can dry itself.
Yeah. Well, we have the cool Nikes, though.
Floating head of Michael Jackson in a diner.
Yeah. I just want my jacket to talk to me. Your
I want
jacket
Michael
is
Jackson
now
to serve me a
dry.
milkshake in an analog TV.
Yeah.
And move like Max Headroom.
All we got was 80s nostalgia. I think that's
That's
the
right.
only thing they got right in that film.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Major 80s nostalgia.
They nailed that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, we derailed you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What were we
So,
talking about?
Speaking of DeLoreans, Kanye West says, "Look at the valedictorian, scared to face the future while I hop in a DeLorean. Scared to face the world, complacent career student. Some people graduate but be still stupid." And that says it all.
That really says it all.
It's just the words of a genius.
To me, that says it all.
I mean, he compared himself to Jesus too, also, didn't he?
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah.
Which is
Really, everything is about Jesus if you think about it.
totally fine. Jesus
The
is about
center-
Jesus.
The center of
Jesus
humanity.
is the least Jesus thing that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Jesus doesn't know anything, but Kanye West is Jesus? Holy shit, dude. Like, what's the X-Files episode where they have somebody plays Jesus? I can't remember who it is. They have this fucking whole, like...
Is it Kanye West?
No, it's not. It's like some...
I wish they made Kanye West a Jesus movie and literally just cast Kanye West as Jesus.
Why don't they do Kanye West as everyone?
And he's wearing movies instead of sandals.
I'd have Kanye West playing Animal Man where he multiplies in Ben's story. I'd draw him as Kanye West.
You should do that.
You should do that.
Why
haven't you done that yet? Why aren't you doing that right now?
I wanted to run it past you guys to see if you thought it was shit up.
I approve. Do it. Hurry up. Let's go.
Okay.
Well, I want Kanye West.
Rokan splits into two characters, and the
Rokan is Kanye West. It's Ro Kanye.
Ro Kanye. Every character is going to be played by. I'm going to redraw them as Kanye. I'm going to paint over the old images.
Ro Kanye.
The sword that he has is played by like a little Kanye, and the hilt of the sword is an even smaller Kanye that's been skewered by the blade of Kanye. So essentially, it'd be two Kanyes forced through each other, and then you'll be able to hold it as a sword.
Inside you are two Kanyes.
Yeah, who will be also played by Kanye.
Which Kanye wins?
Kanye.
Wow,
yeah,
that's awesome.
There is no Kanye doesn't lose, so you know.
Well, Kanye wins. The end.
I'm sold.
And at the end, Kanye gets crucified by a load of different Kanyes, and he gets crucified onto a much larger Kanye.
And then pan out. The planet that they're on is just a big Kanye.
It's just a big Kanye.
Actually, the James Webb Telescope just produced the first images of the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. And turns out it's just a giant Kanye.
Just another Kanye in a Kanye.
Well, I'll tell you what. When I
hate it here.
When I become a rapper and I release an album or a playlist, I'm gonna call it Ro Kanye. All right.
Ro Kanye.
We can do that.
I think we've found something tonight, lads. We've realized something.
So let's recap. Animal Man has time travel. He kills bad guys.
Love that.
Which is a meta commentary on his politics. He has realistic family life. There's multiverse shit. That's more Pete Milligan, but there's meta meeting your creator. There's Wile E. Coyote creating his own world and like the concept of higher worlds and lower worlds. Crafty Coyote, Animal Man, our world above us, the Jesus world maybe. I don't know. There's magic. Fuck, anything you want, we got it. And so you should read Animal Man by Grant Morrison. I'm joking, but we should do Animal Man by Pete Milligan next week. But no. I don't know. What do you guys want to do next week?
Bring up your screen, Ben.
Oh my god, I hate it here.
Man. I'm gonna have to tell the backers that the book's gonna have to be restarted.
Dude, you know what? Honestly, you should just like print 1,000 of these and just put them in all the orders that go out. Don't say shit. Just put them in there to everybody who ordered it. Just slide it in.
Kanye.
Kanye. I like that, dude. I'm gonna do something with that. You haven't seen the last of Ro Kanye. I promise you that.
Yeah. Ro Kanye. Right. Well, we'll have to decide off air then what you want to do. We should probably. I know. We've done a good one.
I gotta go.
As we've just seen, drugs make your problems go away. So make it the best day possible. Remember, it's drugs that counts. Take one and take a chance.
Saturday morning cartoons, mostly conjecture based on little knowledge.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.